Hi guys. I wanted to make a video about one of my favorite UFO stories of all time. It's about Travis Walton. This happened in 1975 and there's been a lot of news articles about it, and there's even a movie called Fire in the Sky. But according to Travis, the movie is largely made for Hollywood and there's bits and pieces of truth in it, but he's not really satisfied with the end result. In fact, he's in the process of making a new movie that's going to be more truthful. So this happened back in 1975. Travis was 22 years old. He worked as a logger out in the forest. He was out there working with a group of people, and they were just finishing up the workday. His personality, he was known to be quite a daredevil. Like there'd be experiences where they'd come across a bear and Travis would go chasing after the bear instead of the other way around. He was just known for his daredevil acts. That was his personality. And so this small group of people were finishing up the workday. They hop in the truck and they're headed back to town. They all drove to work together. They see this light coming through the trees to the right. And, at first they thought, well, maybe it's just the moon, or could that be a fire? They weren't sure what it was, but, they didn't think too much of it. And they continue on. And as they get a little closer, they realize this is lighting up the entire forest. Like, what is this? And there was this little road off to the right that went closer to where the light was. So they decide to go down that road, and they get to a clearing. And that's when they saw it. They saw this huge spaceship just hovering about 50 to 100 feet above the ground, totally silent and not spinning or anything, just hovering. And so they were just staring at it in disbelief. And Travis says, I don't know what got into me, but I flung open my door and just ran over there to be closer to the spaceship. And they're all hollering, Travis, get back. They were terrified. But except for Travis, he was just, his curiosity got the best of him. And so he's standing there looking at it. And as he's looking at it, it makes a noise and then it starts spinning. And then he started realizing, I'm a little vulnerable over here. I gotta get back. But he noticed there's this log lying on the ground, and he thought, I'm gonna duck for cover behind this log. So he turned to duck for cover, but he got slightly closer to the spaceship when he did that. And a beam of light came down and it like zapped him, and he was just lying flat on the ground. It looked like he was dead. All his friends in the truck, they were terrified. They were, they thought that he was dead and that they're next. And so they just thought, we got to get out of here. So the truck turns around and they start heading back to town, but they only went a short distance. And Mike, the driver, he said, we can't leave him like that. We got to go back and look for him. Nobody really wanted to go back there, but they realized they have to. So they all agreed, yes, let's go back. And so they go back to where it happened, and there was no Travis, no spaceship, there's nothing. So they realized, we have to tell the cops about this. So they go back to town and they call the cops. And first the cops think, oh, these guys are on drugs. They give them all drug tests, and they all pass. And then they give them polygraph tests. They all passed the polygraph test. One was inconclusive, but they all passed. And so the cops just didn't know what to make of it. They started figuring out a way to make a case. They started suspecting foul play. There was some animosity with one of the other guys on the crew and Travis. And even Travis's older brother admits that he thought that they did something with him. And the cops said, hey, if you just tell us where the body is, we'll go easy on you. And they're all just sticking to their story, saying, no, we need help in finding Travis. He's gone. He's on a spaceship. So Travis, now the next thing he remembers is he was lying on a table and he felt injured. He said he had so much pain, and it took him a long time to even be able to open his eyes. So he's laying there on a table. He sees bright lights over him, and the first thing he remembers is the UFO. And he thought, oh, I must have gotten injured and my friends brought me to the hospital. He thought he's in the hospital. So he finally manages to open his eyes, and then he starts looking around the room, and he sees 3 aliens. And from the description, it sounds like they're gray aliens. He said that they're about 4 feet tall, and no hair, no expression, and none of them were talking. He was terrified. He starts hollering, stay away from me and get me out of here. And he jumps off the table. and he grabs there was something on the table, like a cylindrical item or something, and he starts swinging it at him, saying, "Stay away from me, and you got to get me out of here." And the aliens just turned around and walked out the door and then went down the hallway. So Travis waits a moment, and then he exits the door and goes the opposite direction. So he's walking down the hallway, looking around, and he comes across a human looking being. He's so grateful. He says, "Oh, thank God, help me. I need to get back home. I need to get out of here. I don't know where I am." And same thing, no words, no expression, but the being takes him by the hand and starts leading him down the hallway. And he doesn't know what to do. He's still afraid, but I mean, he just feels like, well, maybe this being will understand me better than the other ones, just because he looks like he's human. And he leads him into another room, and there's several other humans, just like that one. Not humans, but I mean the human looking. And so he starts telling them the same, "Help me get out of here. Help me get out of here. I want to go back home." And they're same thing, no words or nothing. And he just remembers one of them putting a mask on his face, and then he just went out, blacked out, doesn't remember anything. The next thing he remembers is he's coming to, and he feels like the cold ground underneath him. He feels like his body is still warm, but he feels like the temperature of the ground is cold. So, I mean, he couldn't have been there that long. And as he opens his eyes, he sees that there's a light above him. And he looks up at the light, and it just takes off. So, I mean, I believe that was like the spaceship dropped him off and was taking off again. And so he starts looking around, and he kind of remembered, he figured out where he was, because it was, not too far from his hometown. And there was a store not that far away that had a payphone. So he was able to get up and walk over to the payphone and call his brother. And at first his brother didn't believe it was him, but his brother did come and pick him up and then brought him to the hospital to get checked out and everything. And so that's the end of the story, but Travis has given many interviews since then, and he wants everyone to know that he does not want to instill fear of aliens with anybody from his story. In fact, he believes that they're benevolent, the ones that he was in contact with anyways. He thinks that it was just by chance that he was in the right place at the right time. That's why this happened, that it was kind of accidental that he was injured, that it's not like they were purposely trying to injure him. And the fact that they took him and then brought him back, he believes that perhaps they were trying to help him since he was injured. And he probably wouldn't have made it back if they meant him harm. So he says that he's had 40 years to think about it, and he probably wouldn't be acting the way he was acting, swinging stuff around at him and swearing at him and that sort of thing if the same thing happened today. I find his interviews very interesting, so I'll link some below. Thanks for watching.